Hey everyone, welcome back to Simply Maha, and we have entered the blessed month of Ramadan, which means we are going to be eating these all month long. These are a special type of pancake that we're only going to grill on one side, and then we're going to stuff them with a cheesy, creamy mixture, and you're going to end up with something that looks like this. It's easy to make, everyone has their own recipe, and I'm going to show you mine. So let's get started. Okay, so first thing is first, you need to know how to measure out your flour, and we do that by spooning in the flour that we need into our measuring cup. We're using 2 cups, by the way. So you just want to spoon that in, and then with the back of your spoon, you want to level it out just like that. You never want to just scoop out the flour like you see me doing here, because then you're going to compact all of that flour in your measuring cup and you're going to end up using a lot more than you need. So this is the most accurate way of measuring flour when you don't have a kitchen scale. We're just going to put that in, and now we're going to need some semolina flour. You're going to need 2/3 of a cup of the coarse salmon. I keep mixing semolina with salmonella. That is a problem, you guys. So we're going to use a mixture of coarse and fine, and then we're going to put our sugar, baking powder, baking soda, dry milk powder, and our yeast. Now, here's the thing. You need to make sure that your yeast is not old or expired, okay? Because the leavening agents in this recipe need to be, very good quality for this to work. Like I said, make sure that you're using active dry yeast, and then we're going to add our water. Now, we are going to mix this in a blender, but I like to mix it by hand. And this is a trick that actually a friend of ours who gave me the recipe gave us. So shout out to Khalta Alia. She gave us the recipe. And then now we're going to put it in a blender and then just blend that until it is very, very smooth, about 2 to 3 minutes. And now after you blend this, you want to set it aside to rest for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes until it's, doubled in size. You want to make sure that that yeast really works. So set it aside for about 30 minutes. And then we're going to get to grilling these. Now, another thing that is very important is the heat. You want to make sure you are on medium high right after you put your batter on the grill or in your pan. You want to spread that with some black sesame seeds, and immediately you should be getting bubbles. Okay, if you don't get these bubbles, your batter does not work. Okay, you should be getting them immediately. They shouldn't be too small or too big, just like that. And it really takes experimenting to get this right. So if you don't get it right the first time, it's okay. It's probably either the heat, it's probably you're either the pan's not hot enough, or it's maybe cold, or maybe it was the yeast that you were using, or you didn't let it rest enough. So after making this a few times, you really will know what works for you or what doesn't. If you have a pancake pan, you can use that as well, but this is typically what you should end up with. I just love looking at these bubbles. So satisfying. And the black sesame seeds are optional. I just like to put them. And we're just gonna take that out. And now for the filling, you can fill these out with whatever you want. I'm using about 2 cups of queso fresco and a cup and a half of fresh mozzarella, some cinnamon, and I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of this table cream just to make it, a lot more creamier, and I don't want it to dry out. So I opened it. It was the liquid kind. I thought I would get more of like the pudding-like consistency, but this was the liquid one, which turned out fine. Now this is optional. You can put like a tablespoon of heavy cream, but you really don't have to. And now just mix that very well, and you almost want to fluff it out. We don't want to compact this. Now we fill these bad boys, just like with anything, you don't want to fill this out too little. You also don't want to fill it out too much, just enough until you can seal all the sides really, really well, because you don't want these exploding in the oven, which I have had a couple of them do. Here's a close-up. So what I do first is just lightly go around the edge with my fingers. I pinch them like that, and then I go over it like that. And then I brushed the tops and bottoms with butter and I put them in a 375-degree oven. As you can see, I was making something else as well. I was making warabat, which I actually prefer over KATAYEF. I don't know if you're like me. If you are, comment down below. So let me know if you want the recipe for these warabat. And then we want to dunk them in our simple syrup. That's just 2 parts sugar, 1 part water. I usually like to fry them. My parents don't. They really do work both ways. I just prefer to fry them. And then you dunk them in your simple syrup and voila. Garnish it with some pistachio and this is what you get. Here is the filling up close. So it's creamy and cheesy at the same time. And here is that sexy pull everyone always loves. But I do not like to compensate flavor for that pull, and that's why I only use a little bit of mozzarella. And I use a lot of that queso fresco because I actually want to taste cheese, because the mozzarella, even though it's very rich in texture, it can be bland in flavor. So that's why I do that. I really hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. If you did, give me a thumbs up, share with your friends, and I will see you next time here on Simply Maha. Bye bye.